that.
I don't know how I feel about that. If I'm ASU, I don't know, because the emotion could be disappointment. And do you want that out there? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it. Hey, you heard me say Richie in this week. Usually we have Ryan Cirk running the board for us. And Richie, keep me honest here. Ryan's been making his EPL, English Professional League, pick of the week.
Ooh.
He nailed it last week. And so now he has a day off, but he had the foresight to text me in and share out what his pick of the week is this week. And his pick of the week is Newcastle to win over Wolverhampton, in case you were wondering.
Those are some wild names there, Gross.
And his rationale is Newcastle has only lost once at home this season and are third best in Europe, only allowing 17 goals, while Wolverhampton, they've only scored 9 goals away from home. And also 17 goals allowed is the next best, in the English Premier League. So the pick is, if you follow Ryan Cirk, and he is our national champion, so we definitely do. He likes Newcastle 2-0. It's soccer, so you say 2-0 over Wolverhampton.
You got to say football, Gross.
Football.
You got to say 2-0 in football.
Oh, you just say in the EPL. So there you go. There is our EPL pick of the week, brought to you by Ryan Cirk. See if he can build on his win from a week ago. And before we get out of here for our first break of the day, we want to remind you that you have an opportunity to spend championship week in Houston, Jackson. And I don't think you and I do, because
that'd be a miracle if they sent us out there. But in Houston, what a good venue for March Madness.
So here it is, your chance to win NCAA Championship Weekend in Houston. To enter, all you have to do is visit the Casino Arizona Instagram page at Casino Arizona and look for the post announcing the giveaway. Like the post, comment with your pick to win the championship, and tag friends on that Instagram account. Follow both Casino Arizona, again, that's at Casino Arizona, and Rockin' Manooch. That one is at Rockin' Manooch Radio, those Instagram pages. And the prize that you win, if you are so lucky, 6 game tickets, which is 2 to each of the 3 games over the course of the weekend, 2 on Saturday, and, of course, that championship game in Houston on Monday, 3 hotel nights, April 1st through the 4th, and a $500 Visa gift card. Wow. All of that just for getting on there, doing some business on Instagram. Follow or go to our website, rockinmanooch.com. All the details are there. But get in, or tell your friends. Like Jackson, if we didn't work for Rockin' Manooch, I'd tag you, you'd tag me. Maybe one of us would win. We take the others. So set it up with your friends like that. But again, your chance to win an amazing trip to Houston for that championship weekend coming up the first part of April. All right, we'll step aside. On the other side, we'll dive into what we got going on here at Casino Arizona inside the Sportsbook. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 910.
Clear. Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Arizona's headquarters.
No, you got it. I think you got it.
Right Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Right Toyota.
Yep.
You will always find the right deal at Right.
That's all we call them, wolves.
Has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Right Toyota. Make the right choice. Right
7-0.
Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at righttoyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out righttoyota.com.
It's Dom of Venezia's Pizzeria. We love providing great food for family gatherings, parties, even work meetings. And we make it simple.
We sure do, no matter what the occasion. At Venezia's, we make catering easy. You can see our entire catering menu online at venezias.com. Or let us know how we can help at one of our 6 locations, including the newest, now open in Chandler.
We'd love to bring Venezia's to your next party. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
At Lerner & Rowe, we measure our success based on the amount of money we recover for our clients. We're proud to say that we've collected billions of dollars for them. And no, it didn't take a gazillion years to do it. In the past 5 years alone, Lerner & Rowe has recovered over $1 billion. Millions of dollars recovered every week. We're collecting more money for more people in Arizona than any other law firm. Get the money you deserve. Call Lerner & Rowe today.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Are you looking to get in the best shape of your life and offer your son or daughter the best training in Arizona? Then listen up. Dan Minucci here for the new Coco 5 Performance Center at Bellbank Park, located in Southeast Mesa, the premier training facility in the Southwest. The state-of-the-art facility is 25,000 square feet, which combines junior high, high school, and college teams, as well as individual athletes of all ages. And it's the new home for my quarterback training. They have the best team of coaches led by Olympic gold medal winner Dan O'Brien. If your son or daughter wants to get bigger, stronger, and faster, then you need to call Cocoa 5 Performance Center now. Sign up by calling at 480-572-0647, and one of their team members will get you the type of training specific to your sport. That's 480-572-0647, or go online to legacyperformanceaz.com. And for a limited time, mention me, Dan Minucci, and they will give you your first session free on me. Again, that's 480-572-0647, or go to legacyperformanceaz.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Mom, Dad, let's talk. Before you know it, I'm out of here. I want to go to college. Or start a business. My allowance ain't gonna cut it. Ooh, sorry I said ain't.
The UNEST app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. And with the UNEST gifting link, friends and family can contribute to your child's account. Start investing today. Download the UNEST app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's unest.co.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Welcome back in. Mike Gross, Jackson Groff coming to you from the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. And happy that you're spending part of your Saturday with us. And Jackson.
Yo.
College basketball front and center today and tomorrow. And then tomorrow evening, Selection Sunday, everybody be hunkered down, waiting for that bracket to be released, and then printing them out and filling out as many brackets as you can. How many do you usually do?
I usually do one and done. If it's different groups, like we have one which is with Twin Peaks and with Rock and Minuch that I'll do. And then I have one with some of my friends back in Montana, but I'll keep it relatively similar because I want to root for the same team for each one. I don't want to mistakenly root for a team that I had in one bracket, but on the other bracket that maybe was doing better is the other team.
You don't want to get confused.
I might fill out some other ones just for giggles and stuff like that. But I'm one bracket guy. But are you a guy that fills out the bracket immediately on Sunday? Do you wait till after the first 4 playing games are done, or is it kind of just throughout the week? Because I tend to switch up and down. I watch a lot of videos and stuff, which don't mean anything. These guys having their bracket opinions don't mean it. No one knows what's going to happen. Yeah. But what kind of guy are you when you fill out your bracket?
To me, the play-in games, the games from Dayton, don't really impact my decisions that much.
Do the 11 seeds though?
No, really don't.
Okay.
I mean, there's always exceptions, and we talk about this not necessarily just in college basketball, but in sports. Like if there's an 11 seed that played their way in by going on just a terrible hot streak, won everything the last part of the month and played their way in, maybe, right? Because it's a team's hot and they're ready to go. But if it's a team that's on their way down and they just got lucky and grabbed down to that 11 on the way, and it's hard to get behind that. So I mean, I'll look at it, but I don't put a lot of stock in those games. But I'm usually get one in, get it done. Also, you don't want to forget about it either. You're like, oh crap, I'm going to do it at the last minute. So I'll definitely be logging on to Rock and Minuch and getting my bracket in. And I'll probably do a couple others. Not a lot, but yeah, that's the plan. Looking at some games though, Jackson.
It's funny because we mentioned how the sheet's getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
And today is probably the only day in the whole entire year that we're mentioning teams like VCU, St. Louis, or Yale played earlier. Because those are some teams, like I told you yesterday, I was watching Ohio Toledo just to see what kind of team Toledo is, because those Cinderella upset kind of teams,
MAC teams usually come out of and
they can shoot too. Yeah.
So already today, we to your point here at the Sportsbook at Casino Arizona, Yale defeated Cornell, so they get. Can we say it? Is this trademark? Get their ticket punched. Vermont beat UMass Lowell, so the Catamounts back in. But we were talking at the outset of the program. There's a couple games and one coming up here just underway. Purdue and Ohio State. If you're a fan of ASU, you are all in on Purdue. Even if you don't care about the Boilermakers at all, you want Purdue to put Ohio State out of their misery so that they don't come in and snag a spot that ASU should get. And that's a real danger, is somebody like Ohio State coming up and somehow winning this Big Ten. Today are the semifinals, so they'd have to win again tomorrow if they pull a win off, take on the winner of Indiana and Penn State. But you want no part of Ohio State if you're an ASU fan.
Yeah, and this team reminds me of a couple years ago. It was in 2021 when Oregon State was the 13th seed in the Pac-12, came back and won the conference, which shook up teams in the bubble. But alongside them, you're the biggest Indiana fan, like you said, against Penn State. Yep. Another team to look out for, Utah State against San Diego State. That's for the final. And if Utah State wins at 4 p.m. on CBS, they clinch a spot. And Utah State was a team going back and forth between ASU. And I mentioned this before we talked on the program on how Boise State, Joe Lenardi had them as a bubble team. They lose by 12 to Utah State, and now they're a lock, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, and how two Mountain West teams, maybe even three, might make more noise than Pac-12.
I don't understand that at all. We talked about it at the outset. And I hate the word disrespect, but I don't know what else you call it when you're picking Mountain West teams over the Pac-12 teams. The fact that you could see that with 4 teams in, and Joe Lenardi right now has the Pac-12 with 3. He's got Arizona and UCLA, which of course have been locks for a while. USC, who ASU eliminated the other night, I believe he's got them on the 11 line, and then now ASU right on the bubble. I think ASU is his first team out. And you mentioned earlier about teams we don't talk a lot about. Another game for ASU fans to keep an eye on, one of the SEC semifinals, 1:30 our time. You've got Texas A&M and Vanderbilt getting ready to do battle. And again, you're rooting for Texas A&M if you're an ASU fan.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's on the bubble as well. I was looking back and forth between Boise State and what their best win was against 15 Texas A&M, but ASU's was against Arizona. Now, depending on if it was at the buzzer, does that play into effect? But we talked to Kyle Dodd yesterday, and he said ASU has way more quadrant 1 wins than what Utah State and Boise State has. It's going to be interesting to see what this committee does. I think ASU should get in, but I don't feel too comfortable. It's weird because they said they had to win 2 games and they're in the tournament. Well, they won 2 games, and now people are like, whoa, I don't know. They might not make it because they lost by 19 points to Arizona when Arizona is one of the best teams in the NCAA.
And we had Chris Cartman on a while ago talking about this exact topic. Chris Cartman, of course, does a great job covering ASU sports in general, but we were talking ASU hoops. And this is when, there was still a lot of questions a couple weeks ago about that. And he was telling us, and I didn't realize how impactful the loss to Texas Southern was. And now
in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, Texas Southern especially, and then, absolutely San Francisco. But the Texas Southern loss, I believe, was game 2 of the season. And the fact that, it was that long ago, and people that are close to the program know there was a little bit of drama, a little bit of, stuff going on with the team that you work out early in the year. And that number sank them like 8 spots or something like that, just that single game. And I realize it was in November, but the point is, and somebody that's on the selection committee says, we look at the body of work. You know, we don't eliminate games played early in the season, right? Or we don't overweight games played later in the season, anything like that. So, you know, that Texas Southern loss, if they miss it, that will be one that comes back and haunt them. And then you mentioned San Francisco. That was an ugly loss as well. I don't think San Francisco, I haven't seen the NET ratings lately. They're not quite as far down as Texas Southern is, but a game that will definitely hurt them. And then the other thing, you look at it when you look at the body of work, and people will tell you, again, that are close to this team, when they lost at home to UCLA, as a game they were up, and UCLA came back and won that one on them. ASU lost the next 3 games after that.
And USC, too.
Well, that was the next game was USC, and then I believe they went up to Washington and Washington State and lost those games. And so that one loss, that singular loss to UCLA, actually turned into a real 4-game losing streak. But the impact of that loss really kind of derailed this team where they lost those next 3 games. You win any of those games, and I don't think we're having this conversation, right? So it gets that razor close when the margins are that thin. When you're talking about trying to get the 68 teams in, because if you're a fan of any of those other teams on the bubble, they're making the same argument. If I'm a fan of Mississippi State, if I'm a fan of Rutgers, if any of these teams, you're making that same argument. Well, hey, that was a November loss, or hey, we beat this team or beat that team in the tough Big Ten or the tough SEC. So I get it, but it just it seems to overly impact the Pac-12, in my opinion.
And then when you look at the top seeds, I'm looking at the CBS and ESPN, and it's crazy how these bracketologists are so different.
Yeah,
like Jerry Palm has Gonzaga as a 2 seed and Arizona as a 3 seed. What do you make of the Gonzaga, the Zags over there? They've been hot recently. They just beat St. Mary's. They got a veteran unit with Drew Timme and stuff like that. Is that a team that can make some noise in the tournament, you think?
This is a team, to me, that I don't get the same feeling about that you've gotten in previous years with Gonzaga. They don't seem like that dominant team. Don't get me wrong. This is still a quality program, but I think in a lot of ways you could say that Gonzaga is still kind of trading on their reputation, which is weird to say, right? Because you're in a smaller conference, but they're trading on their reputation. So yeah, beware of Gonzaga, but I don't have the same feeling about the Zags that I have in previous years. I really don't. And you look at other teams in that West Coast Conference, and I know St. Mary's was eliminated, but St. Mary's, showed that you can play with this team. And but again, they're a tough out, especially early on. You probably don't want any part of Gonzaga, but this is a team that you keep an eye on.
I think Texas is a dark horse team.
I love Texas.
Me too. I love Texas. We'll see how they do today against Kansas, but everyone's saying if they had their head coach, maybe they'd be more. They'd be better on defense. But I think their defense has been tremendous, even without him. With their fill-in head coach coming in, Texas is a team that I'm shaking my head. If they get a good, let's say they get a good seed, they'll probably be the 2 seed.
Right.
But you got them, and I'm looking at the quadrant right now with Texas in Lenardi's bracket. He's got Alabama as the 1 seed.
Yep.
He's got Marquette as a 3 seed, and he's got Virginia as a 4. To me, that seems like Texas 2 seed.
Yep.
They'd win. They play either Kentucky, USC win. They'd play either Miami, Marquette win. They could beat Alabama. That could be an easy road for Texas right there.
Jackson, we'll come back to Big 12 basketball, Texas specifically, because I do have some thoughts on them. We'll do that later on. But on the other side, we're going to jump into the NBA.
Ooh,
devastating week, even though they won games. If you're a Phoenix Suns fan, I want to talk about that coming up next on Fox Sports 910.
Clear. Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Join Rock and Minuch with Jimmy B at Twin Peaks for all the March action. Enjoy great food and drink specials and watch all the games on the best TVs in town. For details on the guys' live broadcasts, head to rockandminuch.com. It's going on right now at all 4 Valley Twin Peaks locations.
It's Dom of Venezia's Pizzeria. We love providing great food for family gatherings, parties, even work meetings. And we make it simple.
We sure do, no matter what the occasion. At Venezia's, we make catering easy. You can see our entire catering menu online at venezias.com. Or let us know how we can help at one of our 6 locations, including the newest, now open in Chandler.
We'd love to bring Venezia's to your next party. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
The right price, the right selection. It's all now at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Stop by today and see why Wright Toyota continues to be Arizona's top Toyota dealership, located just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard and online at wrighttoyota.com.
Golfers, teed up at Van's Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Van's Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Van's Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
It's hoop time, and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B have teamed up once again with the best place in town to watch the games, Twin Peaks with 4 Valley locations. Sign up now for your chance to win 910 on 910, plus Twin Peaks man cards after every round. It's the Twin Peaks 3-in-1 Bracket Challenge contest at fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com. And make plans to join the guys throughout the tournament at different Twin Peaks to win even more prizes. Win 910 on 910 with Twin Peaks and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B. Head to fanpick'em.com.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Attention seniors on Medicare. One Medical Seniors is a doctor's office designed around you and your needs. With convenient locations, on-site labs, and care coordination with specialists, our entire team works together to provide you with the best care possible. Come meet us at one of our no-cost events, like a Medicare 101 or a holiday party, and bring a friend. Learn more at omsphoenix.com. That's omsphoenix.com.
Hey everyone, it's Cassidy Hubbard from ESPN. I'm Nico Ramos, a sports broadcaster here in Manila. Together, we have a new podcast we can't wait to share with you. Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game.
You know, there's religion, there's politics, and there's basketball. And those are 3 things you talk about in the Philippines.
It's a basketball love affair like no other. Listen to Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 9.
Welcome back. Jackson Croft, Mike Gross. We're at the CAZ Sportsbook, Casino, Arizona. Taking up to 1 o'clock today. And remind you, we mentioned it earlier in the show, Jackson and I will both be filling out our brackets at rockamanuch.com. Oh, excuse me, fanpick'em.com or win910 on 910.com. Of course, details at Rock. I'm giving all these websites out. Very confusing. I'll give websites out again at the end. But your chance to win a bunch of man cards from Twin Peaks. And you guys, Jackson, are out regularly, and you'll be there a lot during March Madness at local Twin Peaks.
Yeah, Tuesday through Friday, we are going to Glendale location on Tuesday, Camelback on Wednesday, Tempe on Thursday, Friday we're going to Scottsdale, not following Thursday and Friday because we got the Elite 8 Sweet 16 games. We're going to Tempe and Scottsdale. So all the Twin Peaks, hit us up. We'll be there 1 to 4 p.m. broadcasting live from Twin Peaks.
It's the 18th year of this contest. Everybody loves playing it, loves the bragging rights, but more importantly, a chance to win Twin Peaks man card. The overall winner with the full bracket, the one who gets the top prize, Jackson, a $910 man card plus your height in Dos Equis. How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
So you get 5 foot 10 inches worth of Dos Equis.
That's a lot of beer.
That's a lot of Dos Equis.
I don't always drink. Yeah, you know that commercial? Great commercial. When I do, I drink Dos Equis.
Go to fanpick'em.com Sunday. Once the brackets are released, get your picks in. Fanpick'em.com. All right, Jackson, NBA. Suns tonight. They've got a home game downtown Phoenix just after 7 o'clock, and Sacramento Kings are in town. Suns 3-point favorites. Over-under sits right now at 240.5, and that's part of the story. But we got to rewind. We got to rewind to
there's some bigger news that
earlier
happened,
this week where just the excitement, the just everything that sports fans in Phoenix have been waiting for, like some real good news with a professional sports team. Look, Kevin Durant came over in the trade. Obviously, we know all about that. Finally got himself healthy after the All-Star break and had played in 3 games, all of them on the road, and looked really good doing it. I mean, that game against Dallas, that's what, as a Suns fan, you're like, this is so sweet. Get us into the playoffs. We love this. And then at the arena, warming up, and I thought, I'm going to be totally honest with you. You know how you see stuff on social media, and at first you're like, oh, my God, I can't believe that. And then you're like, wait a minute. You got to check to make sure it's not a fake.
Yeah.
Because the internet, sometimes people put fake stuff out there, Jackson.
What? The internet's fake?
Yeah, there is some stuff. I'm just telling you. You're young. You're just figuring this stuff out. But the stuff you see online is not always real. So that was the first thing that went through my mind. I'm like, this is a joke. This is not happening. But the more you dig, the more you find out. And when they announced the starting lineups at the arena, Kevin Durant out. Now he's out. He's going to be reevaluated in a couple weeks. He could be out 3 weeks, could be out 4 weeks, could be out the remainder of the regular season. Look, if it goes past 3 weeks, we're at the 1 month mark.
Yeah.
The Suns play their final regular season game 1 month from last night. They play on April the 9th. That's the regular season finale. So you're not worried, I don't think, right now about the rest of the regular season. I mean, here's a team that's solidly in 4th. Memphis is a disaster. So you might be able to jump up. You're not catching the Nuggets either way. But you're more worried because this trade wasn't made for seedings. This trade was made for a deep run in the postseason, and that one for me is just where it kind of sucked the life out of everything here.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I was actually at that game on Tuesday.
Come on.
My dad had the tickets way before the season even started. He picked out some handpicked some games. He said, hey, we're going to go to this Thunder Suns game.
And you're like, why?
In March. I'm like, okay, why? And then now you know the significance of it. And luckily we paid way less money than what those out there who paid $600, $700, $800, even thousands of dollars to go see Kevin Durant. But it was interesting because I was on my phone just, about 10 minutes before tip-off, and I get the notification from Shams, Kevin Durant's out. And about me and a couple other people knew, but you didn't see people start turning their heads until they announced the starting lineup. Torrey Craig. Wait, where's Kevin Durant? Well, maybe he's just coming in late or something, even when they went out for warm-ups. But, I mean, this is a bad thing for the Phoenix Suns, but could be a good thing. Maybe guys like you've seen DeAndre Ayton, who hasn't had his last 3 games trying to establish his role, maybe steps up even more when he's gone. Maybe people like Chris Paul, Terrence Ross, maybe this is a good time for Monty Williams to establish his bench rotation in the meantime when Kevin Durant's gone. But 3 weeks I'm happy with because when AZ Central reported initially being rest of the regular season and maybe in the first round of the playoffs, I was like, whoa, this is not good, Gross. This is not good. But this is also kind of panic mode for the Suns because when you look through 5 through 10, separated by 1 or 2 games, and the Suns have about a 3-game buffer to the 5th seed right now being the Clippers. When you look at the 5 through 10 there, Gross, which team kind of scares you? If you're the Suns playing first round that you kind of don't want to play in the postseason first round, if you're the 4 seed.
If I'm the Suns, the one team I do not want in the opening round is the Dallas Mavericks right now.
Yeah.
If you look at that the way it is right now, if the Suns holding the 4th spot, who do you think might slide into the 5th spot? The team that I would prefer not to see. You might see them eventually, and I'm not saying I'm afraid of the Mavericks, but I think that the Mavericks and the Suns it's turning into a rivalry, which is a good thing for fans. Like a lot of trash talk, obviously the disappointment of what happened in that devastating Game 7 loss is going to hang around for a while. But just in general, Jackson, I think you would expend too much energy. It's very emotional. Save that for later in the postseason. Save that, because if you get Kevin Durant back right at the start of you're going to use that opening round for, hey, let's get the chemistry down. Let's figure out our rotations and figure out what and how healthy Kevin Durant really is. You don't want the added energy that playing the Mavericks would bring to you. It's just my gut feel as you ask me that question right now. I look at some of these other teams, and the Timberwolves don't scare me. Maybe the Warriors. I don't know. I don't know if the Warriors have enough. I mean, they have their own health issues.
They're so bad on the road too.
Yeah.
And they're a team that I've watched recently. Besides Klay Thompson and Steph Curry and maybe Jordan Poole, whenever they're out there and they got one of those guys on the court, the other four just don't seem like they want to shoot the ball. They just want to pass it around.
Yeah.
Obviously, Steve Kerr likes passing the ball, but their defense is so bad. The Lakers are a team that are getting hot at the right time without LeBron James. Pelicans are interesting because they don't have Zion, but is Zion going to come back? Because they were obviously a dominant team. But I agree with you. The Mavericks, Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, that's a series that could go 7. The Clippers are a team on paper that looks stacked, but they just have no chemistry. That's what I think the Mavericks. Russell Westbrook, actually.
I don't get if I'm an NBA general manager with aspirations of postseason run, why would you sign Russell Westbrook?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah,
I don't understand that at all. Talk to me about the Denver Nuggets. Tell me what your thoughts are. Here's a team. They're going to be the top seed going into this, right? Nobody's going to catch the Nuggets with the remaining games left. They are 20. I think they've lost 4 or 5 games at home this year. The Mile High cities. I mean, these are the elite. These are the best of the best athletes that the planet can offer. But going to Denver is tough. When you played at Montana, you guys would go to Greeley, and that's lower than Denver from an elevation standpoint. It's tough. A lot of it's mental, but it's a tough place to go. And this is a good team that's finally, Jackson, they're finally healthy. The last couple of years they've been good. They've had the MVP, but they've had key players injured. That's not the case now. I look at this team, and I understand that Las Vegas and the experts say that the Suns are the favorite to come out of the West right now. The team that I think is going to present the biggest challenge to me is the Denver Nuggets.
And it's interesting you said that because they were healthy yesterday. They lost to the Spurs, 128-120. So
it was in San Antonio.
It was in San Antonio. Yeah, this is a team that's 16-6 away on the road. But yeah, like you mentioned, this is a team that's developed chemistry. They've had the same group of guys for the past couple of years.
Yep.
They added guys like KCP, a champion that won with the 76ers. And they've got guys like Aaron Gordon who stepped up. They've got Reggie Jackson, who I thought was a great signing, contract buyout. And then Jamal Murray, Porter, and then obviously Jokic. That's a team that does scare me. It just depends on how you guard Jokic, because Jokic is – I'm not saying he's a guy like Giannis, but he's a guy that can not only shoot from outside from the perimeter and get post moves and dominate the paint, but he can shoot threes as well.
Yeah.
And a big that can shoot threes is scary in the NBA. And a team also, I mean, we got to mention, too, the Kings. They've been playing their best ball recently, which I'm interested to see how the Kings and Suns play and match up tonight. Because Domantas Sabonis might be one of the most underrated players in the entire league. I think he's been one of the most consistent players.
Mm-hmm.
He's averaging 20. He's averaging 19 and 12. So we can get to the boards as well. This is a team that's deep. You got Malik Monk off the bench. And it's going to come down to, I think, bench play from the Suns versus the Kings that have a really good bench. But, I mean, besides, honestly, if I'm looking at it, if Kevin Durant's healthy right now, I think the only team, like you said, would be the Nuggets. But that could be a team the Suns could play round 2. So if they could get up to maybe a 2 or 3 seed, play them in the Western Conference Championship, they'd be in good seats, good control.
Bertrand Berry and I were doing our podcast the other night, and we somehow landed on the topic of the Sacramento Kings. And he brought up a good point. I mean, it's a good story for the fans in the city of Sacramento, and I think a good story for the NBA when you get new teams in and having nice seasons like this. And he's like, man, this is over 2 decades since the last time we had serious conversations about the Sacramento Kings. They eliminated the Los Angeles Lakers, I want to say the 2002-2003 season, and that was it, right? And this is a team that's perennially just struggled, and so whether or not they're built and mentally ready for what the postseason brings will remain to be seen. But right now, they're a solid number 2 in the Western Conference, and they're in town tonight to play the Phoenix Suns at the Footprint Center in downtown Phoenix. Line currently is the Phoenix Suns by 3, and that over-under sits at 240.5, according to the sheet we picked up this morning from the sportsbook here at Casino Arizona.
I'm excited. The last month of NBA, it's getting intense.
It is 1 month.
More players are playing defense, and then obviously the NBA playoffs. It's one of the best playoffs. The 7-game series, the back and forth.
1 month
so excited.
to go. 1 month to go. Teams right around that 15, 16 games remaining on that regular season schedule. playoff seedings on the line. All right, we'll step aside here, Jackson. More to come on the other side on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is The Odd Couple
mic check
with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker.
Derek Carr didn't set the standard. So I like, Rob, the fact that, and I don't know if this will continue, but for now at least, these few deals, it seems like it's more based on, okay, how good are you? Derek Carr, I think I paid about what he should, Rob.
With Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. Monday at 4 on your smart speaker. Say play Fox Sports 910.
This is for the men who settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie. The type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Any car dealer in Arizona can compete on price. That's what dealers do. But not many dealers can compete on customer satisfaction. Like Wright Toyota. Make the right choice. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. Just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. And online at wrighttoyota.com.
Golfers, teed up at Vans Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade. Featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness. And the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Vans Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Vans Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
Arizona's largest locally owned A-plus BBB rated towing company is All City Towing. They're always looking to add motivated and competitive team members. Do you fit the bill? If so, head on over to allcitytowing.com/careers for more information.
A homeowner just like you.
Hey.
Decides to fix his roof.
Okay.
He backs up his truck, ties one end of the rope to the bumper and the other to himself.
Smart.
He's working on the back side of the roof until...
What? Wait, no.
Yes, Dad was in tow.
Ooh, was he hurt?
A few bruises and his pride.
Save yourself with State 48 Roofing, offering maintenance, repairs, and replacements. Of course, licensed, insured, and bonded. From residential to commercial. State48roofing.com. Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys, live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Have you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? It happens more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner & Rowe Law Group handles DUI and all other criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think to get the defense you need. If the police made a mistake, call Lerner & Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
March is here. Be sure to head to fanpick'em.com to fill out your bracket and watch all the games at any of the 4 Twin Peaks locations. Details can be found at rockinmanuch.com. Once again, that's rockinmanuch.com.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
It's Tim and Ben. How would you like to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas? Airfare plus 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas, home of Superbook Sports. It's simple. Just enter your name, and Superbook Sports has got your Vegas getaway covered.
You can enter to win at KNXCountry.com keyword contest. And if you want bonus entries, make sure you download the Superbook Sports app after your submission. And right now, Superbook Sports will even match up to $250 when you sign up and deposit today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
For quality referrals, your guy or my guy?
My guy.
Spend hours searching online?
or visit myguy.com.
My Guy.
Risk making a bad choice or use My Guy with only 5-star companies.
My Guy.
Expensive national brands or local family-run ones at My Guy.
My Guy.
The choice is clear. My Guy referrals for home repairs to remodeling to hundreds of other services. Visit myguy.com for all of life's needs. Make
My Guy
your guy.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Welcome back in. Jackson Croft, Mike Gross, take this for 1 o'clock today. Bauer on assignment. And this is the fine part of the broadcast where Jeff Hoodzow usually dials in and gives us his picks. But apparently he's off today too, Jackson.
Oh, wow.
But we'll remind you, check out Best Deal in Town. You can follow them on Twitter, Best Deal AZ, their website, bestdealaz.com. Arizona's largest open box TV store. They've got discount HD TVs, wall mounts, cables, MacBooks, iPads, all kinds of furniture and home audio accessories. And if you follow them on Twitter, again, at Best Deal AZ, you get exclusive Twitter deals. Like this thing that they just put out there this morning. Check this out. 75-inch Sony 4K LED HDR Smart TV. You can pick it up today for just $699.
That's
$699
a smoking deal.
At Best Deal in Town. You can find them in Tempe. And again, always online at Best Deal AZ. And Jeff has his picks in, and I'll run through those real quickly.
You know what I used to do, Gross, when I was a little kid? The
What'd you do?
75-inch screen, I used to just sit up right in front of it and feel like I was inside of the TV. That's how big it was. 75 inches. That's massive. That's as long as this table, probably.
It's a huge TV. It's an
My
absolutely
Lord.
huge TV. All right, we're giving you a sneak peek into our picks, Jackson. And Jeff Hoodzow put his in, and we'll give them to you now. We'll do our picks at the end of the show. But if you take a look every week, we do our picks. How did we do last week before we enter in this week's?
Yeah, so you went 4-0.
What's that now?
4-0. 4 wins, 0 losses. Hoodzow went 3-1 last week. Ryan went 3-1. I went 2-2, and Bauer went 1-3. So right now it's a close race. You're obviously in first at 9-3,
obviously,
and I'm in second place at 7-5. So it feels great that we reset the picks because I was down a lot in the first season.
Right.
Second season, I'm coming back to beat you.
Our first game that we're picking this week is the Big 12 championship game, Texas and Kansas. Kansas, according to the sheet here at the CAZ Sportsbook, is a 1.5 favorite. Hoodzow likes the Jayhawks in that one. Pac-12 championship tonight from Las Vegas, the Arizona Wildcats and the UCLA Bruins. Jeff likes UCLA in that one, and according to the Sportsbook here, they are a 1-point favorite a couple hours before tip-off. And then the Kings and the Suns tonight from the Footprint Center in downtown Phoenix, a game we just talked about. The Phoenix Suns are a 3-point favorite, and Jeff doesn't mind that. He's like, give me the Suns. I don't mind those 3 points. And then finally, I guess we're going to be picking exhibition baseball, Jackson. Tomorrow, Mexico versus the USA from the ballpark in downtown Phoenix. USA, USA, USA is what the pick says there for our good friend Jeff Hoodzow. He'll be back with us, of course, next week with his picks, doing them live and in person, and your chance to win a gift certificate from him. But again, check him out online at bestdealaz.com, and the store is the #1 electronic store in Arizona at 235 East Baseline Road in Tempe. Jackson, busy week. It's the off season in the National Football League, and they still suck the oxygen out of the room. They are making trades in the draft. They're signing free agents. Lots of conversation about who's going where. NFL just dominates 365 days a year, don't they?
100%. I'm glad that we're finally getting the NFL news, and I'm glad we're getting free agency coming next week in a time where March Madness is about to start. The NBA is kind of transitioning into more competitive basketball, but football is always going to be the discussion. And yesterday, obviously, the biggest news yesterday was the Carolina Panthers traded up to the #1 pick with the Bears, and that deal included a lot for Carolina and a lot for Chicago. Carolina traded DJ Moore, wide receiver DJ Moore, alongside a second-round pick for 2025, first-round pick for 24, second-round pick this year, which is the 61st pick, and then the 9th pick Carolina did to the Bears. Huge move for the Bears, and I think they won this trade by a mile.
Oh, you can see when you're an NFL team and you're desperate, Carolina needs help at the quarterback position. They were originally slotted in at the 9 pick. You can't sit and wait and hope if you're the Carolina Panthers, right? And so you have to, I guess you have to make a deal like this, but as you said, it is expensive. It is very expensive. And the Bears slide back, right? But I think they can still get, you look at the Bears, where they need help. They need help along the defensive line, and they need wide receiver help. I love that at number 9 if I'm the Bears, plus everything else they got from the Carolina Panthers to make that deal.
To get DJ Moore in that deal, too, I think is what set the edge for the Bears. The Panthers-wise, whoever the quarterback comes in is going to have a doozy of skill players. I'm looking at right now, you got Dante Foreman at running back. You got Terrence Marshall Jr., Shee Smith, and then Laviska Shenault Jr. as your wide receiver, Ian Thomas.
Yeah.
I bet you 4 of those players, I don't even know who they are. So whoever comes in there, the Panthers are going to have a lot to do. Maybe they trade back to 3 if they feel comfortable. But to be honest, they're gross. I was more thinking Bryce Young going to be the 1 spot, but I'm kind of conflicted. Maybe a CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson could be 1. I don't like Anthony Richardson personally, but I think the Panthers traded up there because they feel as if the Colts or the Falcons or, even some other team like the Texans were going to pick the guy that they wanted. So it's interesting. I think it's wide open now. I don't know if Bryce Young's a solidified pick for number 1.
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
And did you hear the Kyler Murray comparisons that came out after the
I hate that.
I do too.
Watch the film, but I hate how it's always based on the height. Yeah.
Height and weight. Like they took their pictures from the combine and inserted them next to each other. And if that's going to hurt your draft stock, I don't know. But you're right. Lots going on. And how about this? Derek Carr, he's a Saint. Woo. And if you're the Raiders, you ditch Derek Carr because you think Jimmy Garoppolo is the option.
And then what's going on with Aaron Rodgers? We got so much more football talk we got to get into, Gross. It's crazy. We're talking football in March. Free agency starts next week. Trades start next week. What will the Cardinals be doing? We're diving all into that.
He's Jackson Groff. He's Jackson Groff. I'm Mike Gross Bauer on assignment today. We'll step aside here, take care of some business at the top of the hour. Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com. He's here at 12:30. Hour number 2, right around the corner on Fox Sports 910.
Clear. It's hoop time, and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B have teamed up once again with the best place in town to watch the games, Twin Peaks, with 4 Valley locations. Sign up now for your chance to win 910 on 910, plus Twin Peaks man cards after every round. It's the Twin Peaks 3-in-1 Bracket Challenge Contest at fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com. And make plans to join the guys throughout the tournament at different Twin Peaks to win even more prizes. Win 910 on 910 with Twin Peaks and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B. Head to fanpick'em.com.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Attention seniors on Medicare. One Medical Seniors is a doctor's office designed around you and your needs. With convenient locations, on-site labs, and care coordination with specialists, our entire team works together to provide you with the best care possible. Come meet us at one of our no-cost events, like a Medicare 101 or a holiday party, and bring a friend. Learn more at omsphoenix.com. That's omsphoenix.com.
I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. When it comes to your personal injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call, no BS.
The anti-lawyer lawyer. Call 1-800-ANTI-LAWYER.
Of course, your favorite station is on the free iHeartRadio app. Take us with you anywhere and listen anytime. Plus, get thousands of other stations and playlists all free. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
This is The Herd. Attention listeners. With Colin Cowherd.
Here come the Warriors. You sold your stock. I see all the Twitter activity. I've bought your stock. As your stockbroker, I suggested buy on the dips. And here they come. Hire smart people. They'll eventually figure stuff out.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Wow. Monday at 10. Tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Monday from 10 to 1. This is KGME Phoenix, KESC HD2 Phoenix, an iHeart radio station.
Semifinals. Alabama and Missouri have reached halftime. The Crimson Tide ahead by 2, 31-29. In the Big Ten, it's Purdue on top of Ohio State, 42-34. That game has also reached halftime. We've got a couple of games tipping off in the next hour. The second SEC semifinal game will get going at 3 Eastern. It'll be Texas A&M and Vanderbilt. The second Big Ten semifinal will take place at 3:30. It'll be Penn State and number 19, Indiana. The American Athletic Conference semifinal gets going at 3. It'll be top-ranked Houston going against Cincinnati. In the second semifinal of the American Athletic Conference, it'll be Tulane and Memphis. As for the World Baseball Classic, we've got one game going on right now. Purdue leading Nicaragua 6-1. I'm Kevin.
This is the Parker & Sons Weather Center. For all your AC, plumbing, and electric needs, call Parker.
A great Saturday forecast for us. Partly to mostly cloudy conditions out there. A high of 78 in the valley and a touch breezy. There is an isolated shower chance as you head north to the high country. Then tonight, a forecast low of 58 degrees. And by our Sunday, a high of 80 and partly cloudy. For the Fox 10 weather experts, I'm meteorologist Crystal Ortiz.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Time for Arizona's only local sports gambling radio show. Take the Points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Your home for uncensored sports betting opinions, analysis, and advice. The guys have you covered for all the games. Now, take the Points on Fox Sports 910 and the iHeart Radio app.
Welcome back. Hour number 2. We're live at the CAZ Sportsbook here at Casino, Arizona. Loop 101 in McKellips. Jackson Groff, Mike Gross taking up to 1 o'clock today. Richie back in studio. And glad you could join us driving around, doing your errands, running around on a beautiful Saturday here in the Valley of the Sun. Coming up at 12:30. Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com will stop by for his weekly visit. Always good to catch up with Marco as he'll pick a couple of college basketball games for us. And we typically don't give the games before he comes on, but I'm thinking we might be looking at that Pac-12 championship game tonight from Las Vegas. So Marco at 12:30 with us. Lots of TVs on here, fired up, watching college basketball, Jackson. And ASU fans on pins and needles as they wait for Selection Sunday. Purdue helping out the Devils as they've pulled away from Ohio State. The upstart Buckeyes in the Big Ten tournament have made it all the way to the semifinals, but Purdue leads that game at the half by 8 as Sun Devil fans want Ohio State put out of their misery. So they are not going to take a bubble spot that ASU is trying to hang on to.
Yeah, and even Penn State, a team that's been a last four in that we've seen in multiple bracketology experts. But, yeah, like you mentioned, Ohio State, they're down 8, but this is a team that's very streaky up and down. Like yesterday against Michigan State, they led that whole game, and they put it away there after a 9-0 run against Michigan State. But, I mean, Ohio State, they played a bunch of games in a row. This is a Purdue team that's a veteran team. But, like you mentioned, the bubble teams that maybe they'll get in over ASU, maybe they won't. Nope, you need them to lose today. Utah State, the big one. Utah State's a big one for me too, because if they win today, they clinch an automatic bid. Then it's like, okay, what do you do with Boise State?
Yeah.
How does Boise State and ASU rank? But I mean, it would be an ASU thing to just not make the tournament. It would be an ASU thing. Would they make the NIT? Probably.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the question then becomes, and I think you have to do it, but do you want to be in the NIT? Obviously, they're focused right now on Selection Sunday, which is tomorrow evening, and we'll obviously come back and give our thoughts on that later on. But hey, I want to remind you again, we are at the Sportsbook at Casino Arizona, and they reminded us that this is your home for March Madness. These windows are going to open up here at the Sportsbook and at the Sportsbook up at Talking Stick Resort, 8 a.m. for all the college basketball action.
Woo.
So, get together with your buddies, come on down, grab a table, take advantage of the great menu. What would you recommend guys coming in for breakfast?
You got to get that breakfast Sammy. Come on now. And especially with March Madness, usually sometimes there's like 3 or 4 games at a time.
Absolutely.
If you're watching it at home, you got one on your laptop, one on your phone, and one on your TV. But instead here, you could just sit tight and watch on 3 different screens, 3 different games at the same time.
The windows open at 8 a.m. for taking wagers. And, of course, the self-service kiosks, they're available 24/7 here and at Talking Stick Resort. But, Jackson, before the top of the hour, we were talking about the National Football League. Let's just close the loop on that. I mean, obviously we got March Madness coming up. We've got the NBA doing the home stretch towards the postseason. We got Major League Baseball getting ready to start. But here it is in March, and we're still talking about the National Football League. We touched on that big trade between the Panthers and the Bears, and we started to talk a little bit about the Cardinals. What do they do? What are they looking at? This is a team that you're tearing it down to the studs and restarting. Obviously, with the way things ended, you've got question marks about your quarterback. When's he going to be back and ready to go? And so you got to get creative. I think you and I are both of the same mind. If they stay at number 3, they don't trade out of that. There's only one player you take there.
Mr. Anderson, Will Anderson. He's been a guy that's been dominant, and he's been a dude since his freshman year that if he went to the draft that next year would have been a top 5 pick. This is a guy that's been raised well, Alabama, very disciplined. And one of the things about him that I liked is he played in the bowl game. He didn't have to play in his bowl game with the Sugar Bowl, but he played. Shows you the type of player he is. And I think we're going to see what Gannon and his staff and Austin Furt's plans for this season. They always mention how their plans were similar for this organization next week. What kind of guys will they bring into the building? Will they bring in some tier 1 guys, tier 2, or tier 3? You got people like Ben Jones. Not a lot of people know who Ben Jones is. Pro Bowl center out of the Titans. You need a center. Rodney Hudson just retired. Do you spend a little extra money in this offensive line that you've seen struggle recently, or do you kind of go for more skill positions with D-Hop maybe getting traded? You've got some questionable things at defensive line, cornerback position. So we'll see what this Arizona team's about. But their first re-sign, obviously, being Greg Dortch, I'm a big fan of. I think Clifton didn't really utilize him to his strengths, especially with him and Kyler's chemistry. Love Dortch, and I'm a personally fan of them cutting Golden, but you were not when they cut Marcus Golden last night.
Well, I wasn't not necessarily a fan. It just was one of those things in the big scheme of things that came out and was a little bit of a surprise, right? You look at it and see. But to your point, he kind of underperformed this past season. And, you free up some money and, you've got other questions that you need to address on this defense. And maybe the cap flexibility gets it to you. A couple other names, though, to keep an eye on it at number 3 if you're the Cardinals. And one that keeps popping up, particularly with the problems that Jalen Carter had, is Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. I don't know. For me, that doesn't feel like a name that I'm with you on this one. If you're at 3 and he's still on the board, you have to go. You have to go with the Alabama talent, don't you?
I think he's just a safe pick there. Could Tyree Wilson pan out and be a great edge rusher? Sure. But I think Will Anderson, the greatness is there. You've seen it throughout his years. Last year, 10 sacks, 51 tackles as an edge rusher is ridiculous. And I think he's a safe pick. But you could trade on maybe to the 4 slot with the Colts, who need a quarterback, and maybe get some extra picks there. But I wouldn't trade down any further than 5 because, you got a team, these Seattle Seahawks are at 5. You don't want to pass up anyone like Will Anderson and have to face him twice a year like you passed him on Nick Bosa.
Do you roll the dice on Jalen Carter? Like if you're the Cardinals, because before, and you can go back and look at it, obviously some issues, off the field issues. He had to leave the combine and go back to Georgia to deal with them. We won't rehash them here, but here's a guy just on paper, on talent. This was a top 5 pick initially, right? And, depending on whose mock you look at, some team or some guys have knocked him down considerably, others not so much. If you liked him and you do your due diligence behind the scene, do you maybe trade out, acquire some additional picks, and then find yourself in a spot where maybe you roll the dice on Jalen Carter and hope the off-field issues don't become too much of a concern?
I compare him to Robert Kimdichie when they drafted him, not in the stance of play-wise. Obviously, Jalen Carter is a stud and probably more talented than he was.
Right.
But I think anyone with issues surrounding it, I'm not buying, because I think when issues surround, there's been issues that they said about his character too. I think something like that just scares me as an organization, and an organization where you want to start off on the good note. We've always talked about how edge rusher is more of a vital position than an interior defensive lineman, unless you're Aaron Donald. But Manuch thinks, me and Manuch went back and forth. He says Jalen Carter's still with the D-line. I disagree. I think you go Will Anderson, and you've got guys in this draft class D lineman that you could get that could be at the level, not at the level of Jalen Carter, but could fill in a gap there for the interior defensive line. But I just don't want him to pass up on an edge rusher and have to face him twice a year with Will Anderson.
Well, I know, and I've been on this since day one. And when we were talking about, do you trade out? And we weren't sure at first what the Saints were looking for from a draft pick to hire Sean Payton, the right to hire Sean Payton, I guess. And I said, would you rather have that edge rusher, or would you rather have that head coach? And I think most people say, look, this is everybody agrees this is generational talent. You can't roll the dice on. And if you pass, I've said you can't not roll the dice. And if you pass to see him in a place like Seattle, holy smokes, you don't want any part of that. Also, the Arizona Cardinals found out this week that they picked up 3 additional draft picks as compensatory picks. And I think it's interesting to see how this all played out, because when the Cardinals lost guys last year to free agency, the big name is like, Chandler Jones. Oh, you're not bringing Chandler Jones back. You actually got, from a compensatory standpoint, the best pick you got back was the 96th pick overall in the 3rd round,
which was the highest I can't even say that word.
Compensatory
pick
for Christian Kirk, and what he did helping the resurgent Jacksonville Jaguars. And so you get the 96th pick overall for Christian Kirk, all the way down to 168 for Chandler Jones, and down in the 6th round, pick number 213 for the loss of Chase Edmonds,
who just got released by the Broncos, who was a guy that you could maybe bring back on the Cardinals full swing. You get a pick for him, maybe even save some money, because it's worth now, when the time that the Dolphins picked him up is way less. You could maybe even get him for like maybe $900K, 600, $700K a year for Chase Edmonds. Come back into the system. Hey, Chase Edmonds, welcome back. We need you as that second running back.
He's versatile. He's been here before, but
he's also good, man. I love him.
When he was here, I loved him, right? But you mentioned it. It didn't work out in Miami. And obviously Denver going in a different direction now as Sean Payton's making the decisions, gets released there. I do it if the number's right, and if he fits what the coaching staff wants to do. I think he was a fan favorite when he was here. Always loved the guys out of the smaller schools. The Fordham Ram joining the Arizona Cardinals and played really, really well. And I think he understands the quarterback, which is a big part of what you need here. Also in the NFC West, Rams continued, their – I don't even know how to describe it, right? You've got the news breaking this week that they're looking to perhaps move on from Matthew Stafford. Jalen Ramsey with his contract, he's
gone.
They
cut Leonard Floyd, they cut Bobby Wagner, and they said, hey, we don't need these picks. But now they're coming back and saying, whoa, we actually might need some draft picks here if we want to develop some talent. But hey, I don't blame them. You won the Super Bowl at the right time. Super Bowl or bust, you did it. Congrats. I think the Eagles are kind of kicking themselves in the leg, because they kind of went the same approach, but they got a lot of guys on defense that they're going to lose, with Darius Slay, who's requesting a trade as well. But I mean, if the Cardinals did it, I wouldn't be too mad about it.
If you win the Super Bowl, you go ahead and take a few years of pain. Yeah. Like, who wouldn't want to be a Rams fan right now and deal with whatever the fallout is? It might be a little bit of painful to lose some guys that helped you, obviously. And Jalen Ramsey, the other thing too is, you look at the decision. If you're in the front office, at what point, Jalen Ramsey's still at the top of his game, but at some point guys get old, and when you start losing in the legs as a cornerback, that's when you got to wonder. I'm not saying Jalen Ramsey's there, but at some point he might be. And moving on now, what is he going on?
28 years old. He had a bad year last year too. I agree, which will be interesting to see what his market value is too. And you speaking of old. Gross, if you're the GM, are you trading DeAndre Hopkins or are you keeping DeAndre Hopkins? That's been the news back and forth, and we'll find out next week with the the legal tampering being opened up in free agency, but it's been back and forth. And even D-Hop mentioned it on the Pat McAfee show last week saying, hey, I'm an Arizona Cardinal right now. I want to stay here, obviously, but whatever happens, happens. And he mentioned that he's in Dallas right now. And hello, Dallas just opened up some cap space. That's another location that could be for DeAndre Hopkins.
You know, I think it's time to move on. I mean, and this is nothing against DeAndre Hopkins, but I just, you know, this is going to be a couple-year process. And, you know, let DeAndre go and do what he needs to do elsewhere. And if you can get some draft capital to help with what you're doing, I'm okay with it. You know, and you mentioned it'll help a little bit from a cap structure standpoint as well. And I hate to say it this way, good news with his suspension is that voided his no trade clause. So you don't need to involve DeAndre Hopkins in this decision, right? So he can go wherever you can get the best deal for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think at this point, you know, you hate to say it because I remember the euphoria when DeAndre Hopkins got here. But I think it's time to move on and start the rebuild. So, hey, on the other side, we'll jump back into college basketball. And then coming up at 12:30, Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com joins us. We'll step aside here. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 910.
The Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Looking for a change in your career? All City Towing is searching for motivated teammates to join their team. Current openings now available in customer service, tow truck operators, yard management, facilities maintenance, and dispatch. Apply online at allcitytowing.com/careers or call 480-833-7278.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, rock for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
It's Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing and your sexy status roof guy on Instagram and Facebook. Lesser roofers cut corners, coupling together patchwork roofs to meet a budget, not State 48 Roofing. Give us a call today for your maintenance, repair, or full replacement needs.
Golfers, teed up at Van's Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from TaylorMade, featuring the Stealth 2 Woods and Irons. The new Stealth 2 Woods combines speed and forgiveness to unlock forgiveness, and the new Stealth HD Irons deliver high launch with draw bias to give you the confidence to expect better shots more often. Swing into Van's Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Van's Golf Shops. Unmatched expertise, unmatched service.
March is amazing. Watch all the games at any of the 4 Twin Peaks locations. Enjoy incredible ice-cold beer specials during all the games. Plus, play Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B's Win 910 on 910 Bracket Challenge at fanpick'em.com. Happening now at Twin Peaks.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Mom.
Yep, I got it.
Let's talk. Before you know it, I'm out of here. I want to go to college or start a business. My allowance ain't gonna cut it. Ooh, sorry I said ain't.
The UNest app puts smart investing tools right in the palm of your hand. And with the UNest gifting link, friends and family can contribute to your child's account. Start investing today. Download the UNest app from the App Store or Google Play. See terms and conditions at unest.co. That's UNEST.co.
Hey everyone, it's Cassidy Hepworth from ESPN.
I'm Nico Ramos, a sports broadcaster here in Manila.
Together, we have a new podcast we can't wait to share with you. Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game.
There's religion, there's politics, and there's basketball. And those are the three things you talk about in the Philippines.
It's a basketball love affair like no other. Listen to Hoops Paradise, the Philippines' love of the game, on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
Welcome back. Rolling along, Marco D'Angelo joins us in our next segment. Remind you, though, that your chance to win a championship weekend in Houston, Texas, coming up the first part of April, really easy to enter. You got to do a couple things. Follow these steps and you're in. Number one, visit the Casino Arizona Instagram page at Casino Arizona and look for the post announcing the giveaway. Like that post, comment with your pick to win the championship, and tag friends in your Instagram account. And then what you want to do is follow both the Casino Arizona and Rockin' Minucci Instagram pages, and that's it.
Easy.
And then we'll select our winners from everybody who does that. The prizes include 6 game tickets, 2 each for Saturday, and then, of course, that championship game on Monday, 3 hotel nights in Houston, April 1st through the 4th, and a $500 Visa gift card. All for going on, doing a little business on Instagram, Jackson. Your chance to win championship weekend in Houston to watch the basketball games down there. All the details and more at rockaminooch.com.
Could you imagine what it'd be like to win that? Come home and say, "Hey, family, I just like to post. Followed 2 accounts, and we're going to Houston. All expenses paid for, and I got a $500 man card." And being able to watch the Final Four in Houston, especially with a year this year when it's so wide open, sounds like a great deal.
That's all I had to do.
That's it. Let's go right to Houston. But some updates for all those out there who want to know about college basketball going on right now. Number 25, Missouri is beating number 4, Alabama, 35-33 in the SEC tournament semifinal. And then number 5, Purdue is up 10, 16:57 left in the second half against Ohio State. All those ASU fans, you're kind of smiling ear to ear, down 10. Ohio State, a team that wanted to replace one of those bubble teams here for the tournament.
Absolutely. Games you're going to keep an eye on if you're an ASU fan coming up later on this afternoon. We mentioned them earlier. Jackson, of course, you've got Vanderbilt coming up. This is a team that you don't want to steal your spot. You know, it's musical chairs, right? You want Vanderbilt out. They've got Texas A&M coming up at 1:30. And then you mentioned that Mountain West game, Utah State and San Diego State. That game tips at 4. What do you do with the Mountain West? You got Boise State floating around out there. What do you do if Utah State finds a way into that field of 68?
I just can't believe they value the Mountain West over the Pac-12. Yes, you could say the UCLA and Arizona are at the top, and there's a big gap in between. But I believe with UCLA and Arizona being at the top plays to the strengths of the conference compared to what the Mountain West, their highest is number 20 with San Diego State. Is San Diego State even a good team? They might be one of those teams that, could get upset at the first round in the tournament for those out there looking at the bracket. But I don't know, just an opinion there, but we'll see.
And then one last game to keep an eye on if you're an ASU fan coming up at 1:30, Penn State and Indiana. You are rooting for the Hoosiers in that one. Don't want Penn State sliding in either anymore. You want Ohio State, right? So those are the games to keep an eye on if you're the Sun Devils. And we're going to talk about a couple of games with Marco. One of the games, we usually don't do this, but I'll put it out there anyways. Arizona, UCLA. This is your Pac-12 championship game. Game tips off at 8:30 this evening from Las Vegas. UCLA is a 1-point favorite, 148 on the point total. UCLA, Arizona split the regular season games this year, each team winning on their own home court. So this is kind of the grudge match between the three of them. And it's cool in a way, right? Because this is high-profile Pac-12 basketball, right? These are the franchises that people know, and you love to see these games. But it's also kind of a bummer, Jackson, because UCLA is not long for the Pac-12.
Yeah,
they are on their way out, and you will no longer have UCLA and Arizona for a Pac-12 championship. I hope these two teams figure out a way to keep playing during the regular season. I'm not holding my breath for that because the move that UCLA is undertaking is purely money grab. And if you're willing to do that, and I understand it, money is money. You got your budgets, all that. I get it. You're not really into your rivalries and your histories and things like that. So the idea that they're going to put any kind of priority on rescheduling Arizona and UCLA on any kind of regular basis probably isn't at the top of anybody's list.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like you mentioned, UCLA going to the Big Ten. We'll see how they are when they go to the Big Ten, because right now they're super senior driven with Jaquez and with Campbell. But I mean, it's crazy because Arizona beat UCLA when it was at Arizona. UCLA beat Arizona, vice versa, when it was at UCLA. So now you got a neutral site game, Nevada. I've heard a lot of Arizona fans being there, a lot of UCLA fans being there as well. But I think when you look at this matchup, it's going to come down to your top guys on both sides. UCLA has been hot recently, and we'll get into our picks, obviously, here later on, so we won't give our opinions. But, Gross, you mentioned, what have you've seen from this Arizona team, their biggest opponent's been themselves and them being kind of lackadaisical. You think Arizona maybe has a chance tonight when it comes to Arizona UCLA? What would you be looking for? You're a big college basketball expert yourself in this matchup.
Look, I've said it all year. All year, when you look at the losses that Arizona had, and I'll take two off of that list. UCLA in LA, right? That's not a bad loss for Arizona. I mean,
lost by 9.
Yeah. And then the home loss to Arizona State, that's a rivalry game, right? So you throw this out. Everything else, when you look at Arizona, they beat themselves. There's no reason they lose to Washington State. I'm sorry, Bill Walton. Washington State is not a playoff caliber team. So they beat themselves. And I don't know who wins this game tonight. I'll have to make a pick at the end of the show, but I do know that Arizona will be ready to play, and it'll be a good game. Like I said, it's a 1-point game according to Las Vegas, so they expect it as well.
Yeah, the line even says even on ESPN right now.
So it could be even, could be one. We'll get some updates from Marco coming up, but I expect a good game. This is not, this is championship game. This is Las Vegas, right? National TV. This is a game that Arizona will show up for and shine in. But the problem is UCLA is a very, very good team. Other thing, getting out of here real quick, but I just want to mention, and you won't appreciate this at all, Jackson, but longtime followers of college basketball. You look at college dominant programs back in the day, and look, we're talking old school Big East. It's really weird to wake up today and know that the head coaching jobs at Georgetown, at St. John's, and Syracuse right now are all open, all vacant. Georgetown fired Patrick Ewing. Jim Boeheim retires at Syracuse. I don't even know
retired/fired. Yeah,
I don't even know who's coaching St. John's. But this is it shows you how college basketball has changed. You got these high-profile programs open. It just kind of caught me weird. Got me a little nostalgic for the good old days where the Big East on ESPN on Monday nights. I mean, I just remember that. When I was a young lad like yourself, Jackson Croft.
And then you got North Carolina and you got Michigan in the NIT there. Those are two dominant blue bloods. I know I had to mention that for you. But
yeah, thank you very much. We'll step aside here. On the other side, we go to Las Vegas and catch up with Marco D'Angelo right now on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
Wright Toyota, the #1 volume Toyota dealer in the state of Arizona, ensures you a buying experience that will exceed all your expectations. Check it out for yourself. Located just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale and online at wrighttoyota.com.
I often get asked, how can Lerner & Rowe effectively handle DUI and criminal cases when you guys are a personal injury law firm? The answer is simple. We're good at it. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is a separate law firm from Lerner & Rowe Injury Attorneys, and we have some of the most experienced criminal defense attorneys available, including one of only a few certified criminal attorneys in Arizona who have handled thousands of criminal and DUI cases. And we offer affordable payment plans. Getting the defense you need is one phone call away.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters and a game and a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Tune in Mondays from 1 to 4 as Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B broadcasts live from the CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona. The Sportsbook at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona is sports fans' paradise. That's the guys, live every Monday from CAZ Sportsbook in Casino, Arizona.
Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees, more options, and faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global Capital, 480-397-9300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professionals.
GC Global Capital is an Arizona licensed mortgage broker, NMLS 1091187, license NB 0924983, an equal opportunity lender.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, this place was made to entertain. We're your Casino, Arizona.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
Join Rockin' Manooch with Jimmy B every Thursday as they broadcast live 1 to 4 from one of the Fort Valley Twin Peaks. Tune in at 2:45 for Peaks Picks to win a man card. For this week's location, head to rockinmanooch.com. That's Thursdays at Twin Peaks.
Listen to what Dave Ryan says about Andro 400.
Andro 400, I really love it. It's amazing to me that I feel so good. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy to walk, energy to play sports. Everything is starting to work again, just like I'm 25. My wife is happy. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man. I'm taking this stuff to the grave with me.
Men, have you lost energy and gained belly fat? Are you feeling stressed out? Fight back with Andro 400, the safe, natural, and inexpensive
Marco's
way
ready.
to increase your testosterone. For over a decade, Andro 400 has helped men lose belly fat, gain energy, and feel 20 years younger. Go to andro400.com. andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Who's a lock? Who should you stay away from? Take the points. Powered by CAZ Sports Bar's resident handicapper, Marco D'Angelo of WagerTalk.com joins us now on Fox Sports 910.
That time of the week, we head up to Las Vegas and welcome in and say hello to our good friend, regular contributor to the program, Marco D'Angelo from WagerTalk.com.
Marco! I had to turn it down there, Marco. Well, I'm back.
I love it.
He's back, just in case you weren't sure, Marco.
I wasn't there last week. I just got to make sure I was, I got to make my presence known with Marco. But what's going on, Marco? How's it going in Vegas?
It's going. It's crazy time of the year. This is a fun week, conference tournament week, and then of course we know next week what happens. The first weekend of March Madness, the Thursday, Friday is just absolutely insane in Vegas. And if you've never done it, I tell you guys all the time. The Super Bowl and the first week of March Madness in Vegas. There's nothing like it.
Well, Marco, we're going to break down a couple of important college basketball games here, and we'll start in the Pac-12. The Arizona Wildcats, the UCLA Bruins, number 1, number 2 in that bracket. The favorites show up, and they're ready for the conference championship game tonight up there in Las Vegas. Arizona's 27-6, UCLA 29-4. And I've been saying all year, Marco, you look at this Arizona team, I think they're the own worst enemy of the Wildcats is themselves. When you look at their 6 losses, okay, you lost at Pauley Pavilion to UCLA, fine. I'll even give them the rivalry game to Arizona State on that last second shot. But those other games, they just didn't show up. They got bored. They lost to Stanford. They lost to Washington State. This is a team that just checks out mentally. I don't think you do that in a championship game. You don't do it in Las Vegas. You don't do it on national TV, and you certainly don't do it against UCLA. And looking at the line on this one, UCLA is what we have here is a 1-point favorite with the point total sitting at 148.
Yeah, that's the line that we have here in Vegas as well. And I thought, possibly you might see a little bit more action on your end there being in Arizona, but the line is the same. And guys, take a look at that line. And we talk about it in football sometimes where I say a line looks just a little bit off, and it's like they're begging you to take one side. And we talked about this game last week, and we were on UCLA. We got the money with that one. But the reasons I had UCLA is I felt all of the intangibles in the game were in their favor for that season finale, because Arizona was coming off that Thursday night game at USC. And although it was a big win for them, it locked down second place for them in the Pac-12. But they couldn't catch UCLA. UCLA had the conference clinched already. So Arizona really didn't have anything to play for in that game other than pride. Now, you could say, well, the same would be true for UCLA. They had everything wrapped up. What were they playing for? They were playing for a couple things. Now, one, they had revenge because Arizona had beat them earlier in the year. Nobody likes to lose to the same team, especially one of the elite teams. And even though Arizona State's a big rivalry, for college basketball, it's been Arizona and UCLA the last few years. Those have been, the two teams that have been better in the Pac-12. So you don't want to lose to them twice. So they had that motivation. The other motivation that we pointed out last week is UCLA had that undefeated record at home. They wanted to finish the season undefeated at home, and they got the win. Now this week, they don't have those intangibles. Now they're playing for the Pac-12 championship conference tournament. Arizona wants that. Not saying that UCLA doesn't, but UCLA is playing with added pressure. The added pressure they're playing with is they're number 2 in the country, and they're playing for a number 1 seed. That is going to be the difference. And when you think about it and you look at those rankings, and so many people that are casual bettors, they look at that little number in front of the team name, and they see UCLA sitting out there, number 2 in the country. It's -1. Just pick the winner, basically. That looks a little bit too easy. They're going to run to the window and bet UCLA. I'm not doing it. I am going to take Arizona in this game. And if you go back to last Saturday's game, the game pretty much was even the entire game as far as the stats go, except one spot. And that was getting to the foul line. UCLA got to the foul line 22 times. They made 20 out of 22 foul shots. Arizona only got to the line 16 times. They made 11 of the 16. That 9-point difference at the foul line happened to also be the difference in the ball game. I think you see a little more even stat this time around. Maybe UCLA gets a few of those friendly whistles at home. They're not getting them here. I like Arizona to win this one. I've got them taking it 73-68, and we came very close last week to nail in the final score of the game. We missed it by a point on each team, but let's go ahead and get Arizona this week in revenge. And you guys like stats. Here's one for you. Arizona, the last 2 seasons, when they're playing with in-season revenge, they're 6-0 against the spread.
There we go.
Well, this is quick revenge. We're going to go ahead and take Arizona.
Hey, I was just going to give you credit for that. You nailed both picks last week, and we were watching all the way down to the bitter end of that Arizona UCLA game. You were that close to just nailing the score perfectly. You're that good every week for us, Marco.
All right, second game. We're going to the ACC, the Atlantic Coastal Conference, and we got Duke, who's been on a hot streak lately there, Marco. They're a 2.5-point favorite against Virginia, who's higher ranked. The over-under total at 123.5. Where you lean in the ACC matchup for the tournament?
All right, guys. Hey, full disclosure, I lost a big play last night going against Duke. I was on Miami last night, and I'm going to tell you all of the reasons I had Miami last night, and most of them come into play in this game as well. And you said it. Duke's playing great ball right now, and everybody's starting to jump on the bandwagon, is you're seeing with the spread, them being the favorite, being the lower seed. It was the same case last night. They were the favorite, being the lower seed. Why? Well, because going into last night, they had a 7-game winning streak. Now they've got an 8-game winning streak. I look at that winning streak, guys, and I do like teams that start to play well at the end of the season because, they're playing at the right time. You're peaking at the right time. All the cliches that you want to use. But let's be honest about this winning streak. The first 3 wins of the win streak were against Notre Dame, Syracuse, and Louisville. Those are 3 bad teams in the ACC. Then they beat Virginia Tech, who's been up and down all year in the ACC, but too often Virginia Tech struggles offensively. That you can't do against Duke. Then they beat North Carolina State. That probably was their best win. North Carolina State at times looked like as good as anybody in the ACC this year. Unfortunately, in other times they looked very mediocre, but they beat NC State. Give them credit for that. They beat North Carolina, big rivalry game. We'll give them credit for that, but let's be honest. North Carolina is going from playing in the national championship game last year to not even making the big dance this year. So how good is North Carolina? But what everybody overreacted to was the way they blew out Pitt in the first round of the ACC tournament. Guys, you know my history with Pittsburgh, and I follow the sports very closely back home there. Pitt was not mentally prepared for this tournament. They still were kicking themselves for the final week of regulation play in the ACC. All they needed to do was either beat Notre Dame on Wednesday last week in Notre Dame or beat Miami on Saturday, and they would have won the ACC crown. They got upset by Notre Dame. They got caught looking ahead to the Miami game, and then they lost at the buzzer against Miami. Pitt was so distraught after that game. The head coach for Pitt kept them in the locker room, did not let them go out for the media questions after the game. I'm just taking that win was not as good as you looks on paper. And then what happens last night? I'm all over Miami. Their big guy, Omer, gets hurt 2 minutes into the game. What did we lose? We lost almost 14 points per game and 10 rebounds per game. He is the big presence inside. Duke was able to dominate the boards last night, 33-21 rebounding edge. When you rebound the ball in that much of an edge in a game, you're going to win the game. They ended up winning it by 6, I believe, last night, even with the big guy for Miami out. They don't get those breaks tonight. Virginia's solid. They're playing good ball right now. 4 straight wins, 8 of the last 10, but more impressively, look at this defense of Virginia. Last 4 opponents have been held to 60 or fewer points. Wrong team's favorite. I'm taking Virginia 65-60, calling for the upset.
All right, Marco going with 2 underdogs there for the ACC and Pac-12 championship matchups. And we got some more time here, Marco, and I'd love to hear your analysis and your opinion, being a sports betting expert. What would you say your biggest tip is when you approach like the March Madness brackets? Obviously, I'm assuming you fill out your bracket as well, but do you kind of lean when you look at the first 2 rounds, betting towards maybe what you feel as if your bracket's going, or do you kind of favor the spreads? Like if you go an underdog, you kind of go the plus route when it comes to that. What would you say your biggest tip is for these first 2 rounds when it comes to from a sports bet perspective?
Well, I'll answer 2 questions. The first question is, do you stick with your bracket or do you look at the games in themselves? I try not to. I'll fill out one bracket just for fun because everybody has to do that. I don't like doing the brackets because what it ends up doing for me is when you're doing brackets, you're just picking winners. You're not dealing with point spreads. And I never like to get predetermined thoughts in the back of my head before I break down a game. And, when you have your bracket, I got this team going to here. And sometimes it sways you subconsciously onto what you're thinking when you're handicapping game by game. That's me personally. Now, one of my favorite angles in tournament play, and this works both in the conference tournaments and in the big dance. When you get a good team that has a scare, and everybody has it. You're not going to go rolling through the tournament. You're going to have a scare somewhere. Those teams, the next game off of the scare, especially when it's a situation where it's like the Thursday game and you're coming back on Saturday, or if it's in a conference tournament, you're playing the very next day. Teams that have the scare and survive generally are very strong play-on teams. Because why? They're the better team. One, they probably looked past their opponent in that previous game, but getting the scare was the wake-up call. Room service called and said, it's time to wake up. This is the front desk. And it gives the coach that added fuel under the fire to light that fire under his team and get their attention. I like to take those teams in the next game.
He's Marco D'Angelo. Follow him on Twitter at Marco in Vegas, the website wagertalk.com. And Marco, as we let you go, obviously college basketball getting a lot of attention right now, but we're under a month to go in the NBA regular season, so we're shooting for the playoffs there. Major League Baseball getting ready to start for real in a couple weeks. NHL heading towards the playoffs, and you guys have it all covered at Wager Talk.
Yeah, guys, this is a fun time of the year because everything counts for real. You got teams, still in the NBA, we still got my pet peeve, some guys still doing the load management, but you got to start jockeying for position and getting ready for the playoffs. And then the beauty of the playoffs is all hands are on deck. No more wondering who's going to sit out tonight to take a break. This is the time of the year we like, and as you said, baseball's just around the corner. Don't forget, hockey playoffs are ready to commence in a month as well. Teams are jockeying for the position, and out here in the West, I think it's like 8 points separate first to being out of the playoffs. Yep. That's how tight it is, in the West. So whether you can say it's parity or mediocrity, we'll see. The East is definitely the more dominant side of the hockey frame this year.
Absolutely. So check them out. Again, wagertalk.com. Download the app, WagerTalk TV. It's awesome. We all have it on our phones. We love it, and we enjoy visiting with Marco each and every Saturday here on the show. Marco, good stuff as always. We'll talk to you next Saturday.
All right, guys. Let's cash some tickets.
Let's do it. He's Marco D'Angelo. Again, one more time, at Marco in Vegas on Twitter and the website wagertalk.com. We'll step aside, wrap up today's show on the other side. We'll make our picks.
Let's
That's
go.
Coming up on Fox Sports 910.
Take the points. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona continues next on Fox Sports 910 and the free iHeartRadio app.
This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
People can come to the same conclusion, and it's not collusion. You don't have to be in a text chain to know the Deshaun Watson contract was egregiously amoral and awful. Nobody had to collude. There was a league conclusion that the desperate Cleveland Browns overpaid.
This is The Herd.
Monday at 10. Tell your smart speaker to play Fox Sports 910.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
It's hoop time, and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B have teamed up once again with the best place in town to watch the games, Twin Peaks with 4 Valley locations. Sign up now for your chance to win 910 on 910, plus Twin Peaks man cards after every round. It's the Twin Peaks 3-in-1 Bracket Challenge Contest at fanpick'em.com. That's fanpick'em.com. And make plans to join the guys throughout the tournament at different Twin Peaks to win even more prizes. Win 910 on 910 with Twin Peaks and Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B. Head to fanpick'em.com.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook, #SexyRoofStatus. All of our work using state-of-the-art materials and 5-star workmanship. Our inspections are free. You heard me? Free. Go to state48roofing.com to schedule your free appointment today.
We're your neighbors. You should stop by for a visit. We're Casino, Arizona. Come on in. Our slots are spinning, our dealers are dealing, and everyone's yelling bingo. Isn't it about time you see your friends again? So stop by to say hello. Stay a while. Relax. Enjoy yourself. We'd love to see you again. Hey, This place was made to entertain. We're your casino, Arizona.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner & Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state. And with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner & Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Shopping for a mortgage? Big banks can be a big hassle. Call GC Global Capital and work with a local team of mortgage experts for great rates and lower fees, more options, and faster closings. Don't let your dream home purchase turn into a nightmare. Call the professionals at GC Global Capital, 480-397-9300. GC Global Capital, your local mortgage professionals.
GC Global Capital is an Arizona licensed mortgage broker. NMLS 1091187. License MB 0924983. An equal opportunity lender.
Join Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B at Twin Peaks for all the March action. Enjoy great food and drink specials and watch all the games on the best TVs in town. For details on the guys' live broadcasts, head to rockinminuch.com. It's going on right now at all 4 Valley Twin Peaks locations.
Hear that? That's the sound of the 2023 Chevy Silverado's turbo high-output engine, delivering impressive power with no compromised durability. Whether you're helping friends move or just moving some friends, this is the sound of a family with plenty of rear seat room to enjoy the ride. And this is the sound of you heading to your local Chevy dealer today. Find your Silverado and find new roads. Chevrolet. See your Valley Chevy dealers.
It's Tim and Ben. How would you like to win a trip for 2 to Las Vegas? Airfare plus 2-night stay at the Westgate Las Vegas, home of Superbook Sports. It's simple. Just enter your name, and Superbook Sports has got your Vegas getaway covered.
You can enter to win at knxcountry.com keyword contest. And if you want bonus entries, make sure you download the Superbook Sports app after your submission. And right now, Superbook Sports will even match up to $250 when you sign up and deposit today.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
I'm Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. When it comes to your personal injury case, I'm straight to the point. I'll answer your call. No BS.
Byron Brown, the anti-lawyer lawyer. Call 1-800-ANTI-LAWYER.
Back to Take the Points, powered by the Sportsbook at CAC Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, exclusively on Fox Sports 910.
7-minute segment. Final segment of the day. Wrapping it up here at the Sportsbook at Casino, Arizona. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll remind you again, Selection Sunday, in case you missed it, that's tomorrow. And as soon as that's over, rush over to fanpick'em.com and get your bracket in. It's a Fan Pick'em Win 910 on 910 bracket presented by Dos Equis, 18th year. And here's the deal. It's easy to get to. It's easy to sign up. It's easy to get your picks in. And we're giving away a ton of man cards. And check this out. The overall winner of the full bracket, they get a $910 man card. Plus, Jackson, your height in Dos Equis. I'm 6'3".
That's a lot.
That's 6 foot 3 inches of Dos Equis.
That is 5 more inches of Dos Equis than myself.
That's right.
So hopefully you win. That'd be a lot of beer for you.
And you guys will be out on location throughout the course of March Madness at our Valley Twin Peaks location.
Glendale, Camelback, Scottsdale, Tempe, all of them throughout the week. Come out, say what's up, 1 to 4.
Fanpick'em.com. Get your picks in and your chance to win a $910 man card plus your height in Dos Equis. 18th year of the Twin Peaks Fan Pick'em contest. Win 910 on 910 presented by Dos Equis. All right, it's that time of the show, Jackson, where we put our picks in and go over the records real quick from last week again.
100%. We are doing. You are 4-0.
All right, that's good. Let's jump into the picks from.
I'm in second place. You are in first place at being 9-3, and I'm at 7-5. Let's start out with the Big 12 championship. Might be the game of the day, not the night. Obviously, the night being Arizona UCLA. Yep. But you got Texas against Kansas. They face off for the third time. Kansas favored by 1.5 points here. Bauer's going with Kansas. And for me, I just got a weird feeling about Texas. I think they're playing great at the right time. Their defense against Kansas's offense will be the matchup tonight. Give me Texas 1.5.
I love Texas as well, and I love the story. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder. Their coach got released earlier in the year, and they circled the wagons. They've been playing great. If you watch them, they hustle, they play hard. Give me Texas as well.
Second game, Arizona UCLA, the game of the night, 8:30 p.m. The Pac-12 championship. Again, these two teams play for a third time. The top two teams in the respected conference. Arizona UCLA favored by 1. Bauer's going UCLA, and I'm going to agree with him on this one. I'm going to go UCLA as well. I think they've been playing well recently, and I think this Arizona team, like you mentioned, their biggest opponent is themselves, and I just think UCLA's got more depth, more veteran leadership. I'm like UCLA -1.
I'm going to agree with Marco on this one. I was kind of waffling around trying to figure out which way I was going to go. Marco broke it down. A lot of reasons to like Arizona. The line's 1 for a reason, so it's going to be close. It's going to be a good game, but it's almost a pick 'em game. Give me Arizona in this one.
Now we make our way to the NBA, the biggest game of the night for NBA. You got Arizona schools playing in some big games tonight. You got the Suns at home against the Kings. Kings coming off of a 2-game winning streak. The Suns coming off of a 4-game winning streak, favored by 3 tonight, 7 p.m. at the Foot. You talk about a schedule of games. You can watch the Suns at 7, then you can watch Arizona at 8:30, and you can watch Grand Canyon at 9:30. Back-to-back Arizona teams. You love to see it. Bauer's going with the Kings +3. I'm going with the Suns -3 just because I think they're so much better at home. Devin Booker's been playing on a different level, and I think a guy to look out for tonight. Obviously, they talk about Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton needing to step up. I think Josh Okogie fills in that role of Kevin Durant and has a big night tonight. I'm going Suns.
I'm agreeing with you. A lot of reasons to like Arizona. I keep saying Arizona. The Suns at home with all the Arizona basketball going on tonight, Suns downtown at home. Dealing with a little bit of adversity that they had early in the week. They came back and took care of Oklahoma City in that one. I think they do the same tonight against Sacramento, downtown Phoenix. Give me the Suns.
And then we're making our way to the World Baseball Classic.
No idea.
Mexico and UCLA right now. I'm looking at it, and I don't know which who's on
USA.
I don't know who's on the rosters. I'm going with my home country, USA, always. I think USA. Hey, 7 p.m. tomorrow at Chase Field. Bauer's going USA. He's obviously a baseball guy, so I think we got to go with USA, right?
Make it USA. Make it a clean sweep. I don't know anything about it. World Baseball Classic, downtown Phoenix. Busy weekend down there.
Oh, my
gosh. Suns tonight. You got a lot of baseball going on at the stadium. Kind of a cool night, kind of a cool atmosphere. And Bauer sent us a picture. Big crowd getting into the stadium before the game this afternoon. That's going to about do it for today's show. We want to remind you again, though, that Casino Arizona and Talking Stick Resort, the sports books at both locations, will be open at 8 a.m. for taking wagers during March Madness. So get out here, get here early, bring your buddies, hang out, get the wagers in, and then park yourself in front of the big screen TVs. Like Jackson said, you don't have to have a game on the computer, your TV, the phone. You can have them all up on the screens across here and enjoy it. Great menu, great service here at both Talking Stick Resort and our home here, the sports book at Casino Arizona. Thanks to our guest, Marco D'Angelo, who was on with us just a moment ago. Marco in Vegas on Twitter. The website is wagertalk.com. Great job, as always, by Jackson.
You too, Gross.
Richie filling in for our national champion, Ryan Cirk. Richie, we appreciate you today. Don't forget, Rockin' Minuch with Jimmy B, Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 right here on the station.
30.
And your chance to win some stuff off of those guys. Trip to Houston for the Final Four, as well as the Win 910 on 910. All the details for all of that and more at rockinminuch.com. Check it out, rockinminuch.com. Get all the info there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday right here on Fox Sports 910.